Hello everyone. I hope you're okay today. It's been a very long time since I actually did a real-time video. I do apologize for this, but I've been quite busy working on a game project, which is coming to an end, actually finished, but the release is not until March. So after it's released, I will definitely share my work with you. Today, we are going to cover the new rig I've done for my latest characters. There's two characters I've created. And I've actually used the same rig because the characters, I've created it from the same base mesh. They just have a little bit different features, but it's basically the same geometry. So I was able to reuse the rig. And the reason why I'm doing this video is because the latest rig I created, it's a little bit different than the other rigs that I've created. Since I've started rigging, learning how to rig, because I'm still learning, in the process of learning, I'm experimenting. I'm doing tests with what works best for me in terms of animating my characters. As most of you know, the ones who have been watching my videos, for Maximus and Rapunzel, I used lattice deformers as well within my rigs. And I think it worked really well, but since I was learning, it was a bit tricky how to actually connect the controls to the lattice deformers and everything else. That was fine, but just when I animate my characters, the rigs I was creating up until now, specifically for the face, it was a little bit tricky when all the controllers were on the face. And I was getting a little bit frustrated sometimes, not being able to select my controls quicker than I wanted to. Because in animating, in animation, when we're animating all the characters, especially the face controls, you're not able to select it properly. It's like kind of unsettling for me. At least that's the case for me. So what I've tried to do with my latest rig is create off the face control rig, which you can see here, right? I am going to edit and post the videos for some of the process that I use to create this, to basically constrain the joints to the control rig, to the curve rig, if it makes any sense. Okay, so let me show you the skeleton first. So this rig is a combination, I'm talking about the facial rig. The rest of the rig is exactly like I've created all of my other rigs. Okay, so it's going to be a little bit slow because I've got all the hair there. And you know what happens when you have too much XGen in the file. But I want to keep it there for now because I like looking at the character with the hair. I don't like it when I need to work without all the details. So it shouldn't slow us down too much. If it does, I will hide it, and hopefully that will give us a bit of a speed. Okay, skeleton. So the control rig for the face, I have created it. It's a combination of joints and blend shapes. And the reason why I tried not using lattice this time, because for Maximus and Rapunzel, I use lattice deformer for the eyebrows, for the nose, for Rapunzel, for the cheeks for Rapunzel, and for the upper lips and the lower lips. It worked okay. It was fine. I think I need to still learn about all kind of using lattice deformer and limiting the transformations for the controls and whatnot. The reason why I tried using just joints and blend shapes is because in the last few months I was working on a game project, right? And I started learning Unity as well. So I've learned how to create prefabs in Unity, how to create animations for Unity as well, so they can be used in game projects. Because as we all know, the control rigs, the curve control rigs that we create in Maya, they're not recognized. The constraints and the curves are not recognized in Unity. I've tried it a few times. It's a whole process to be able actually to use a rig created in Maya to we used in Unity. I did a few videos on it for Pascal recently, where I was actually baking the how do you say it? I was baking the controls influence over to the joints, so I can actually transfer it in Unity and use that rigged character in Unity, but only with the joints, not with the controls, which took away a little bit of the nice rig I did for Pascal's tail, but that's fine. I mean, it was just a test, and I guess I have a lot to learn to be able to, get everything into Unity. So that's why I created this rig with blend shapes and joints only, not lattice deformer, because lattice deformer is really good. I actually really enjoyed setting everything up and using lattice deformer. It gives you a lot. But then I was thinking, if I want to transfer this specific model into Unity, it's going to be very difficult. I'm not sure whether the lattice deformer and how the lattice deformers work in Unity yet. So at this stage, I've decided I'm going to use just blend shapes and joints and see how it goes, because I know the process of using just joints and blend shapes. That's why I did Pascal's videos, transferred them into Unity, tested everything. So I know I can work with blend shapes and joints in Unity. And why not create a really good rig so I can, later on test it in Unity. Let's stop saying Unity. let's get to the skeleton. So I use the joints for the lower jaw, which is this one. Yeah. Then I have for the upper jaw, and I have for the upper and lower lips. Can you see them? Shall I hide the geometry for the moment? You see? All these little ones for the upper and the lower one. Then I've used for, let me put it back, for the cheeks as well. And I've done one for the whole, and then a little ones for the different sections of the cheeks. The same I did for the upper and lower lips. The same I did for the eyebrows, as you can see. So I've got a main one, which is connected to my main controller here. Yeah. So if I go with this, you see how this whole thing, and you can see they are working. The eyebrows are working. I just need to refresh it. There you go. So that's how XGen. I don't know whether you've used XGen, but if it's not animated, you actually need to go and refresh it. But if you animate it, it is working perfectly fine. You, don't worry about it. Okay, so let's zero this out. Okay, and now we need to put these back. There we are. Okay, so if I go to this one, it's lifting this part, yeah? So if I go to this one, where is my channel box? This one looks a little bit out of order, you see? This one is not zeroed. I've been playing with it. Let's refresh our XGen again. There we are. Okay, so let's go back to this one. See? And do you notice how it's actually where's the joint, but it's lifting the correct geometry that I want. Look how further it is. Well, because my control rig is so further away from the joints, what we usually do, we parent it to the joint on the place, right? But because I wanted to do it off the face, I had to use locators as well. I'll show you in a minute how I did that. And there is actually series of videos which show how I actually did the whole process. So I'm going to do this in the next few days. Let's zero this back out. Okay, let's refresh our XGen as well. Come on. All right. I think in the node editor, I have the last one that I did, so I can show you. Basically what I did with the joints and the blend shapes as well, I connected them in the node editor, right? So I can use it off the face. Let me go to the node editor and see whether we've got, okay, so that's the last one I've actually connected and it's still there in my node editor. It's opened. Let me hide that. Okay, so that's control lip, lower center. Okay, there you go. Okay, so you see, where is my joint going? Woohoo! But if I hide my skeleton, no, let's not hide it. Let's remove it from here. There you go. So you can see, look, it is moving the lip where I want it, right? But look, where's the joint going? All the way down. Well, that's not a problem because what I did, like I said, I had to use a locator, which is connected to my joint. Let me unhide this. Okay. Is that the whole group? Oh, it's a, no. Okay. Is it there? Let's have a look. If we move this, is it showing? You see? Where is the locator? There we are. See, that's my locator there. And what I did is, because the joint always has translates, right? Where is the joint? Come on. Yeah, it's a little bit slow, isn't it? X-ray joints. Okay, it's this one, isn't it? Come on. That's the lower jaw. I don't want the lower jaw. I want this one. Okay. See, there is a translate here, right? And that's why it would have worked just parenting the control if I had the control on the face. But because I want it off the face, I had to use a locator, because otherwise, when I parent it, because the joint has the translations, once you rotate the head, that joint stays there and it's pulling all the geometry there where it stays. That's why I used the locator. And then I connected the locator. I've parented the locator I've put it in an offset group. That's another thing. I started using, when I build my rigs, everything has an offset group for me now, because that gives me one group. If I don't know how I'm going to build that rig, because I wasn't sure how I was going to build it. If I don't know how to build it, I'm not sure where I'm going to be placing it under which hierarchy, so I can connect my other stuff. So what I started doing is I've started doing all my controls with an offset group, which works really well. And the offset group, I've got rubbish numbers, and if I want to place this in another part of my rig, I just grab my group and I just drag it, and my controller is still going to stay 0. My control curve, let's say this way, my control curve always stays 0, right? So that's the beauty of the offset grouping. Some of you maybe remember there were, I think, 2 videos I did on offset grouping and offset parent matrix. And I had a question at the time: why do we need to do the offset parent matrix and offset grouping and whatnot? I started using the offset grouping in every rig that I have, because it gives me the opportunity of parent things, move things around in the rig's hierarchy, so I still have my controls clean. Wherever I place them, everything goes in my offset group. If I decide I want to take these out, yeah, I'm going to take it out. Let's do that. Okay, let's put it here somewhere. Yeah. And yeah, my offset group is, yeah, rubbish numbers, whatever. But look, my control is still there, right? It's still 0 and it doesn't influence anything. So I've decided that offset, that shoulder control, curve control, I don't want it in that part, right? So that's why I've got the offset group. I can take it out and place it wherever I want, and my control curve will still stay 0. Let me undo my way out of that. Put it back. Put it back. All right. Perfect. Okay, so we don't mess things up, right? So I've got the joint, which is this one. right? And I've got the locator. So I've parented, locator is 0, right? Well, doesn't look like it's 0 now. Oh yeah, it's not 0 because we've moved this one, haven't we? Yes. See, because the translate y is not 0. So if I go to 0 and go back to my locator, there you go, it's 0. But my joint is not, is it? Oh, I can't select my joint. Let's zoom in. Okay, so that's the joint. Yeah, lower center. See, the joint has translation on it. So that's why I had to use the locator. So 0 locator, the joint is parented to the locator, right? And then I'm parenting the locator, but actually not parenting it. I connected it to the node editor. So I can use, oh, sorry. So I can use the multi-double linear. Because if you see, come on, there we are. Look where the joint goes with the locator together with the locator because it's parented to the locator. But it still gives me the movement of the lips that I want, right? And it's a good proximity with my control, isn't it? It's because I used multi-double linear for both translate X and translate Y. I think it was in my case. It's wait, select that channel box. Yes, it's translate X and translate Y. I've removed all of the rest. I've logged them and removed them because I don't want any other translate or rotate or scale on this. I haven't set up any scale. So if you have a look at the joint, it's flying in space. But I still have the control that I want. And I've used quite a big number actually here for the multi-double linear. As you can see, it's like 80 for the X and 80 for the Y as well. But it works really well. Let's zero that out. Bring it back. Okay, so that's how I connected all of the joints that I used for the rig to my control curves on my beautiful, I really like that. It's really nice. I haven't tested it properly in animation yet, but I'll show you. It works really well. So let's close that. The blend shapes I've connected absolutely the same way. Again, I had to use multi-double linear, which gives me, really good movement within the space of my curve controls. So let's hide the skeleton for now because it's really distracting me. Let me hide that locator as well. Hide, okay. So next, what I did here, let's find it. It's here somewhere. There you go. Mainframe face. Okay, offset mainframe. See, I still have even this one I put in the offset. But this is zeroed and it works really well because I can move it wherever I want. And it's still gonna work. And I can bring it back here as well because it's zeroed, right? Okay, so let's say that I wanted actually to move it and I've connected it to a locator as well. And that locator is, let me show you where that locator is. Where are you? There you go. See, that locator is put in the main, into this. Okay. Okay, let's hide the floor. Don't like selecting it. So I've put the locator for my control of the face into the main one. And I still have it on offset as well. Okay. So let's get back to this. Like I said, what if I wanted to actually bring it back in front of the face? Still gonna work. Let me bring it back. Actually, that's how I created it first, and then I held it, the whole edit tool. That's how I create all of my controls. Let's bring it down. There we are. So it's kind of where we want it, but since it's the scale is zeroed out as well, let's try scale it. Shall I risk it? I haven't tested that. Yeah, it works fine. So I can scale it down as well. And then I can bring it back to 1 if I want to. So let's try and put it. There we are. You see? It's kind of okay. So I can bring it a little bit further. There we are. And it's still gonna work. I hope. Let's see. Yeah, it's still working. Yeah, you see? What if let me get myself out of that. Let's zero it out and put it back where we want it. So all this we want 0, right? And all this we want 1s. Okay, perfect. Okay, lovely. What if I say, let's test the body. When the body bends, not bends, rotates. Seriously, Alexandra. Okay, so we rotate that. I know, creepy, isn't it? Let's refresh that. Okay, okay. All hair working perfectly fine. Rub deformers are there, right? And she's all the way down, right? Let's bring her a little bit more down. I'm afraid that my weights are gonna start showing some skin. Oh, still okay. Good, I did good skin in there. All right. And I have her here, right? And this is kind of unsettling, isn't it? Being all the way there, right? Well, let's bring it to her. What do you say? Shall we? Let's rotate it a little bit. Okay. You can even use the, let's use that rotation. Is it gonna work? Let's copy it. Which one was it? Z or X? Obviously it was X, wasn't it? Nah. Okay. Let's try without the minus. Okay. Awesome. Okay, so now it's this way, right? So let's bring it closer. Come on. There we are. Okie dokie. Bring it down. Right. What do you say if we hide that one? What is the offset group? Hide it. I don't need to see that. Do I? Okay. So let's get back to that. Okay. It's kind of where we needed to animate her, isn't it? A little bit down because when she's like this, it's easier for me to do it here, isn't it? Okay. Let's test that. Shall we do the eyes closed now? And they're still gonna work because they're how do you say it? Seriously, what's wrong with me today? I can't get the words out. It's limited. The information for the translates is limited, right? Let's bring it all the way down. I know. My daughter said it looks creepy like that. Let's refresh the eyelashes. Perfect. Okay. Yeah, works perfectly fine, doesn't it? Let's test something else as well. Okay. Okay. So, shall we test the eyes? See? Ah! What happened there? Let's fix that. That shouldn't be, the eye shouldn't be influencing that, should it now? Yeah, I missed probably to skin the glasses properly. Okay, which one should we skin them to? This one or this one? No, this one. Okay. Okay, so we want that. We want full influence. There we are. Okay, let's do this one as well. Come on. Flood. Ah, interesting. Oh, okay. There we are. Apparently, this part was influenced by the other joint. Which one? This one. Not this one, but this one. But that's fine. Doesn't really matter because they're connected, so doesn't really matter. How are we doing with these ones? Are they influenced properly? They seem that they're influenced properly, aren't they? Shall we test it? Let's have a look. Come on. Okay. So refresh checks chin. Come on. Let's have a look. Ah, no. This one's is fine now, isn't it? Yeah, see? Okay, let's quickly fix that one as well. Come on, now you're saving. Paint skin weight, head one, flood. Oh, okay, I would rather do that rather than going in the outliner and looking for it. Get out of my... there you go. Alright, that's perfect. Okay, so we fixed that. The head obviously is working fine, isn't it? Okay, let's get back to the eyes. Okay, eye is working perfectly fine. Let's check the other one. Yeah, this is fine. Let's test the teeth and the lips because these are sometimes the ones which give me you see, a little bit. So need to be careful how I'm going to be animating that, but it still works pretty fine. The jaw is where it's supposed to be, even though the head is rotated. So it works really well. It does work really well, doesn't it? Even when we've actually moved all this, and it's still away from my face and it's still working, and I can put it wherever I want, right? Working pretty well for now. Let's see. And this is working fine as well. This is working fine. Okay, how about the blend shapes? So smile, frown, angry. They're with blend shapes, puff cheeks as well, and the sound O. Because these are the ones which it's really hard getting them done just with the joints controls. So that's why I like doing for these parts of my rig, I like doing blend shapes because anytime I can go in and amend that blend shape, as long as I haven't animated it yet, I can edit my blend shape on the spot, right? Huh. Oh, it's working pretty fine, isn't it? Okay, so let's test this one. He It's kind of cute, isn't it? Let's see the puff cheeks. Ooh. That's quite nice. Okay, come on. Just the one side. Again, I've created those from actually the main one, so you can see. I might play with it a little bit and amend it, but I think for the moment it looks pretty well. Let's do the nose. No, that's the upper jaw. Yeah, sorry, my bad. So what I've done is I've created the upper jaw, so I have the flexibility of, sometimes when you have the character in a pose where it's kind of tricky and you want to be able to move that upper jaw, even though the upper jaw is not supposed to be in real life, the upper jaw is not moving by itself. It's basically the lower jaw which kind of drives everything. The upper jaw is very very difficult and freaky. Like my daughter said, it's freaky being able to move the jaw, but it gives me flexibility, doesn't it? Let's have a look. Was that the upper jaw? Yeah. See? I can move that. Can move that a bit as well. What's gonna happen if I move that a little bit more? And this, I can bring it down if I want to. And now I can animate that, and it looks pretty well, doesn't it? It's really good. I mean, like, I'm very happy with that. Being able to actually do this. She can show some teeth. Beautiful teeth I did there. Very proud of them. Okay, and this one, is it 0? Yeah. Okay. So how about the tongue? Let's test the tongue in this, because when it was like in zeroth position, it worked pretty well. But I haven't actually tested the tongue when she's in this position, how it would work. Ooh, okay, we need to be careful. I might actually limit the the influence a little bit more. I just need to be careful when I'm animating it, obviously, you know. Let's test the tongue. Okay, come on. There you are. Ah, it's working. So that's the top of the tongue. Okay. Let's zero that out and test the other one. Let's test this one. So that's kind of half of it. Oh, here we have a little bit of problem. So that needs to be fixed. But I think it's the original setup. But that's fine. I can change that. Or the tongue is too big. See, there is just one glitch here, which I will need to fix. I'll need to figure out how to fix that, because her head is obviously rotated. Because if you go here and I refresh that, come on, looks freaky that way. There we are. Let's test it now. Yeah, because I think actually the tongue is too close, so maybe I should just, yeah, you see, that's why it's not the rig, it's basically my geometry is too big. See, the geometry is too big for the teeth, so I either need to make the teeth bigger or the tongue smaller. But that's fine, that can be fixed, because if I go in my 01 and select my tongue, it might be locked. No, it's not locked. So I unlocked it. Usually, when you skin geometry to the joints, it's locked. But I unlocked it. So when it's unlocked, I can actually scale it. Why is it all the way there? Oh yeah, because the joint. Yeah. Okay, that's fine. So I can actually change this. I'm not gonna do it now. I'm gonna do it later on. But at least I find, while I'm testing and showing you, I find a little bit of things that need to be changed, right? Okay, so. But the rest looks pretty good. I mean, yeah, working pretty well. Okay, how about the angry one? Is it working in this position properly? Oh, yeah. But this needs to be zeroed or put down. Okay, let's see. Yeah, this one wasn't zeroed out. There we are. Okay, this is zeroed, so what we can do is we can play. I can lift it a little bit more. I think that's the limitation. So if I thought that I need to actually change that a little bit, what I can do is I can go into my translates and release it a little bit, you know, on the, which axis it is? On the Y ones. So if I was to release it on the minus, so that's on the plus. So if I were to release it here, let's say, put it all the way to 5, that's gonna allow me, look, that's gonna allow me to bring it even more up, right? So I can play with all this and amend it, and still is not gonna break my rig or my geometry, right? Let me get myself out of that. So we can zero everything out. Okay, let's zero this out. Oh yeah, we did zero this out, didn't we? It's just the body I need to zero out. Okay, this is done. Come on. There we are. And let's zero this out. Bring it back and back. Awesome. Isn't that awesome how it works? I mean, it took me a while to build it. I think it works really well because the flexibility of moving the phase rig wherever I want it, it's kind of a really good thing for me. I don't know about you, but for me, that's a really, really, really good thing. So, yeah, for the rest of the rig, as you can see, did we test most of it? Oh, yeah, I didn't show you actually the nose one, did I? Yeah, so if we go to XGen, it's gonna refresh the eyelashes as well. There we are. So, yeah, the nose I did with joints as well. Okay, the skinning here, I need to fix that. Okay, but that's little glitches like which is very fixable. It's okay. Let's try the smile. Did we try the smile? I think we did, didn't we? The frown, we tried it, but we tried it. Yeah, you see, in the neutral position is much better, but it gives you a chance. The rig that I've created, it gives you a chance to actually play with it and amend things as you go, as you need them to. You know, oh, it's so cute. I really like the blend shapes I did for her. Puffed cheeks. I've got just the sides as well, the puffed cheeks. I've got a separate eyelids as well. Basically, most of the stuff, and the good thing is that I can always add to it. If I need additional blend shapes, I'll add additional blend shapes, and I can add additional controls. It depends on let's refresh that. It depends on the animation that needs to be done. Because, for example, this is quite detailed and it will help me because I want to start learning how to animate lip syncing, conversation and stuff like this, because that's very difficult. And I did try it with Rapunzel's animation, but it was okay. But it was the first one, actually the second one that I did, and it wasn't as good as I wanted it to be. So I've learned from and partially it was because my rig wasn't good enough. That's why I've learned from my Rapunzel's rig, and I've created a different one. So now I'm gonna figure out, is this working really well for me, or do I need to improve it and get even a better one? That's how I learn. That's my process of learning. I hope that's really helpful for you as well. The other thing that I have done for this rig is I'm really happy with this one as well. Look at her little fingernails. So cute. Okay, so I've got fingers curl, which I need to fix a little bit here. But that's fine. It works pretty okay. So maybe when I animate, I can animate just the tip of it. Let's say. Yeah, it's working pretty well. I think the joint is not where it's supposed to be, but that's fine. We learn from our mistakes. So, and I've got finger spread as well. So I can spread the fingers tiny bit, even more. Well, that's far too much, isn't it? But it's good to have the flexibility of doing that because all I can animate is just this little, you know? So that's pretty cool. It works on both. So the watch, I've deleted all the rig for the watch. I just copied the geometry after I placed the watch. I didn't want to amend it. I wasn't going to animate the watch. If I need to animate it, I can always bring back the rigged watch like I showed you in the latest videos for the smartwatch. But yeah, so this is the hand, and the watch is not skinned properly, but that's fine. I can always fix this in the animation just to go with the rest, because now it's, I think, influenced by other joints as well. But that's fine. That's like, little things that need to be fixed. Like the arm is pretty good. The skinning there is pretty nice. What I like about this rig is the way I've done the shoulders. Look, pretty cool, isn't it? Okay, that's my FK actually. Here it goes like this because I think I made a mistake. of the joints. Look where they are. I think I should have brought them a little bit more in, you know, maybe here somewhere. But we learn from our mistakes, don't we? Right? That's why on the motion capture animation, I did try fixing the shoulders, but you can't do it if the joint is not in the place where it's supposed to be. The deformation of the geometry will be like this. So I've learned from my mistakes. Next time I create the rig, I will, I'll try to push the joints for the shoulders a little bit in. The legs as well. Have I skinned that properly? Yes, I have. That works pretty well as well. And I think the feet work well as well. I think I fixed them. They should be all right. Let's have a look. Oh, yeah. Nice. How is this one working? Good. Very good. Okay. That's 0. Spine, it's fine. Should be fine. This works. I've got the double one for the shoulders as well. What else? Let's check the spine. That's good. Okay, and what I wanted to show you is the FK-IK switch. So now I'm going into my IK, which should be good, and it is good. Okay, about rotating it a little bit. Works really well, and I can still use my spread and curl even in my IK. Isn't that cool? Yeah. It took me a while to build the rig, but I think it's doing really well. I mean, there are glitches here and there, but nothing that can't be fixed, right? And if I need to fix some of the controls, the good thing is I can do it. And let's say that something wasn't working properly and it wasn't, let's say that I was bending her this way and my controls aren't following things, right? And what if I say, okay, well, this is not following because it's not in the group where I want it to be? Well, having offset groups gives me, the freedom of putting it wherever I want. Let's say I want to put this one. I'm not happy with it. Yeah, right. So let's bring that back. And I say that, okay, this control is not going into where I want it to go with the body when I'm moving the body. And I've already imagined that I've already done the offset parent matrix, offset parent matrix, and I've zeroed it out with the offset parent matrix, okay? And I can't freeze transformations. And I decide I need to move it in a different group. What's gonna happen? Well, I think it's gonna mess up my transforms. So let's test it. What if I were to move this controller, the hand IK, into a different group? I'm taking my zeroed controller, right? I'm testing now. And I want to put it, okay, let's put it in the head, right? Look what happened to it. It's because it's different, it's set up differently, and especially if the joints are already constrained to that controller, that's it. I need to go all the way back and create the controller, constrain again and whatnot. Let me get my way out of that. But here is 0. I put it back where it was. Not if I get the offset group. If I get the offset group and I put it in the head, I'm just saying in the head. I know it's a hand and it's not supposed to go in the head group. Let's just test it. Yeah, okay. Yeah, offset group is with rubbish numbers, that's fine. But what happens to my control? It's 0. So this gives me the flexibility of rearranging my control rig the way I want it and I need it, especially when I don't know how to build it, right? Let me get myself out of that. Okay, so yeah, I think that's it, basically. Let's check this one. I'm testing the rig. I haven't tested it up until now, like properly tested. Obviously when I was skinning it, I was testing it, but I wasn't testing everything. Like, let's rotate her in a certain position and move the controls of the face and the whole control of the face. Let me just test this. Yeah, it's working fine. It's pretty cool, isn't it? Very proud of that rig though. It's really cool. Yeah, it's I'm very happy with it because it took me a while to figure things out. And why I build it this way is so I can later on, when I decide and when I have time, I want to actually use it as a project to create a game character in Unity, let's say, like I did with Pascal, because it took me a while until I got back to Pascal to optimize his rig and actually changed his rig, because for the legs I used to have IK handles only. But then I was animating with the IK handles only and it didn't work well. And then I changed them to just FK. So sometimes you need to have the information how you want to animate this character. And that's when the rig is created, because the rig can be very complicated, but it can be very simple as well. So it depends on how the character will be animated. And I think that's it. I hope you like the rig. I hope you like the video. It was nice to be able to do another real-time video. And I will keep you posted. So after this one, I will start posting all the videos that I've pre-recorded, how I actually created the face control rig and how I connected the locators to the joints and then the locators to the curve controls. And I hope that I've answered some of your questions. I certainly have answered some of mine. So until the next time, have a great day.